Alright everyone, so today we're out here actually doing something quite important. I'm looking at my different trees and we're now in September and I'm trying to get my trees to put on a lot of growth before the season ends here. It's now September. I'm thinking we can get one more last growth spurt before things start to cool down, things start to go dormant. And what I'm doing underneath my apple trees here, which by the way, my apple trees I've raised myself, got them as rootstock, grafted onto the rootstock, and 2 years later, this is what we've got. Really beautiful trees. And what I've been doing is I planted comfrey underneath these trees, only 3 plants, and what I've done is just chopped them all back to the base. And you can see this just a ton of biomass just from these 3 plants. I've been able to cut these back. You can do this like 4 to 5 times a year. If you're going to cut the entirety of it back all the way to the ground, I recommend maybe only 3 times a year. But you can take all this biomass, guys, and what I've been doing is just throwing it underneath my trees. I'll do this to every single tree I have, even more so to the ones I really care about, like my persimmon tree here. I mean, look how much this tree has grown. The tree is huge. I'm not even going to be able to reach some of these fruits. It's maybe a bit of a problem, but I'm expecting the fruit set to be so heavy that it's going to lower these limbs and actually bend them all towards the ground. But you can see down on here, underneath the persimmon is just all kinds of mulch. If I push this all back, we have a layer of wood chips that I put down, and that was there last year. That has all, for the most part, broken down and has formed compost. Then on top of that, we added in straw, and we did that in the beginning of this year, and that straw has, for the most part, broken down, except for the top layer. And then we're just slowly adding more and more things. Every branch I get, every weed I get, every piece of biomass that I have from my yard, this becomes my compost pile. And I do this underneath all of my trees. There's my mulberry tree right over there, guys. Do the same exact thing. So what we'll do is we'll add some comfrey here like we've been doing all year. It's going to really help break all this down. It's a compost activator. The stuff breaks down really quickly. It also acts as like a fast release organic fertilizer. It's really crazy. So we'll get a nice shot of fertilizer, nice shot of growth before the season ends. We're cutting the thing down, we're chopping it, and then we're dropping it. And then as soon as things go dormant again in November, so we got 2 months left, these comfrey plants will be back to normal. They'll be back to what they look like pretty much before I had just cut them. So we'll have almost just as much biomass as we have here. We'll do the same exact thing. We'll throw the biomass underneath the trees in November, and we'll repeat that cycle, and then all that stuff will be breaking down over the winter time, and it'll be a really, really nice thing for my trees that when they wake up the next season, they're ready to go. They're going to be fruiting heavily, and they're really going to be superstars for me. So that's comfrey, guys. That's the power of comfrey. And really anything you can put down underneath these trees is going to be a huge, huge plus. I'm not a permaculturalist, but this is something I really, really like about permaculture. And I would love to be able to do this in a forest setting, but this is the best I can do. Just chopping and dropping in small locations that I can, getting as much biomass as I can. That's essentially what they do, guys. They get either some kind of ornamental grass you see there, they'll chop that whole thing down, or they'll chop comfrey down, or they'll put some ornamental type trees, and then they'll stick all that branches and all those twigs and all those weeds and all those things on the ground, build some soil, and you really are creating a forest in that way, at least in their setting. So anyway, everyone, if you want to find some comfrey, because it really is such an amazing plant, I recommend you only need 1 comfrey plant for each tree planting. So if you have 1 tree here, 1 biomass of comfrey is plenty. But if you want to get it, I'm sure you can find it on the web. I don't know where exactly to get it because I got mine from a friend. But you can go online and type in Russian Bocking Comfrey 14. I don't know, some order of that. You'll be able to find it, no problem. But anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This was Ross, and I hope you enjoyed this one.